G'day guys, this is Tia and welcome back to another Fallout 76 guide. Today I'm going to be talking about legendary perk cards for the first time on the channel. Since they are actually in their final stages of development and will be releasing tomorrow with update 22, I figured I would make a video going in detail the best legendary perk combinations you could choose for specific playstyles and builds. Everything ranging from melee only legendary perk cards to ones that best suit PvP, to ones that best suit commando playstyles or pistols. I even included one collection that is best suited for the players that like the quality of life legendary perk cards. So keep it all in mind that this is only my opinion of what I think would best suit each build and playstyle. If you're doing what I do and making super specific min-max builds, then you'll feel right at home here, but feel free to alter them any which way you please. This is just what makes sense to me, and do take note that there may be some repeated perk choices as there is not a lot of diversity between the pistol, shotgun, or rifle type of perks for the builds, which is a shame, but yeah, anyways, let's get straight into it. So I'll be showing off all of these legendary card combinations via the Nukes and Dragons website, and I'll be using my personal min-max builds as well for comparison. Firstly, let's take a look at my pride and joy, my melee build. The following legendary perks I have chosen for her are: number 1, collateral damage. At rank 4, enemies killed with a melee weapon have a 20% chance to explode. This is going to work with both our one-handed, two-handed, and even our unarmed weapons. So honestly, who would say no to having a little extra damage in an explosive fashion? This perk is a no-brainer and at max rank could be incredibly useful in a situation where you need to crowd control. Next up is Exploding Palm. At rank 4, while unarmed or using an unarmed weapon, you have a 20% chance of triggering an explosion on attack hits. Again, synergizing with our previous choice, except this purely only works for unarmed weapons, and does not require a kill to be activated. The explosion can happen upon any hit on the target, which basically means in combination with collateral damage, we have a 40% chance to make enemies explode on their death, and a 20% chance for them to explode upon just hitting them. Again, amazing for crowd control, and it's just genuinely fun to use. Then number 3 is Funky Duds. At rank 4 we gain a plus 200 poison resistance when we are wearing a matching set of armor. We are picking this basically because poison damage in this game is a nightmare. It is no joke. It kills you so quickly if you aren't paying attention, so having dedicated resistance to that is definitely amazing. Next up is Hack and Slash, and at rank 4 we get a 50% chance for melee VATS attacks to do area damage. This perk is an absolute godsend. It's basically another way to deal area of effect melee damage and to crowd control. Basically it's a 50% chance to hit all enemies in a short proximity to yourself, and what's so good about it is it's the fact that whatever damage you dealt to the main VATS target will get dealt to all of the surrounding targets as well. This is definitely a must-have for all melee users. Number 5 is Retribution. At rank 4, blocking a melee attack restores 4 HP and 4 AP for 15 seconds. Now this one isn't really too important as it stands right now. It's kind of underwhelming, only healing your health and AP a small fraction per second per successful block, so I understand if you'd like to swap this out for something else, maybe Brawling Chemist or something like that, but as it stands right now it does have potential to be a really strong perk if they buff it, and it can be really useful in combination with Stimpaks and stuff like that. And lastly, for our 6th and finals legendary perk, for our melee build we have chosen Legendary Strength. At rank 4 we gain a plus 5 to strength and a plus 5 strength to our perk points capacity. Remember, our perk points cap at 15 anyway, so if we're already at 15 that part won't apply to us. Basically I'm choosing this so that we get a 25% melee damage increase, since every point of strength literally equals 5% more damage. So it's realistic that I'm choosing this to get as much strength as possible. Doing this would bump up my character's personal just strength in general up to 56, which is bloody insane. That's a lot of bonus melee damage. Next up we have my Stealth Rifleman and Commando build. This build is set up to deal the most damage per second possible, so the following perks that I've chosen for this build make a lot of sense for that playstyle. They are the following. Number 1, Far-Flung Fireworks. At rank 4, enemies killed with a ranged weapon now have a 20% chance to explode. Now you're going to see me use this on basically all ranged characters in this video, since it's a guaranteed way to increase my damage. Basically this perk could be amazing. Imagine you snipe an enemy in a group of ghouls or something like that, which then explodes and kills all the surrounding ghouls. It's situational and RNG based, but honestly it's the best we got, so I'm picking it. It's fucking awesome and it's going to be a lot of fun. Next up, we at number 2 have Follow Through. At rank 4, our ranged sneak attack damage increases damage to the target by 40% for 60 seconds. This is basically an incredibly powerful version of Tenderizer that only works in stealth. So it's obviously right up this character's alley. This is a must-have for all Stealth Commando builds out there. You do not want to miss this, trust me. This perk is going to be the absolute meta and the go-to for Stealth Commandos. Then number 3 is Legendary Luck. At rank 4 we get a +5 to luck and +5 luck perk points to work with, which we won't be making use of unfortunately. Remember, perk points cap out at 15, which we are already at in our build if you see up there. I'm basically picking this purely because the higher our luck, then the more often I'll be able to pump out critical hits due to my critical meter filling up faster and faster. So with this, my luck gets a massive increase and in turn so does my damage output. Big brain! Plus I couldn't find anything else that is remotely useful for me for this bloody build. I could have put in Ammo Factory, or something like that, something useful, but you know me, I am synergizing and min-maxing for damage output. Anyways. Next up is number 4, taking one for the team. At rank 4 max rank, enemies take 40% more damage when they attack you, if you're on a team. So basically the way this works is if something attacks us successfully, then I will be dealing 40% more damage to said target that attacked me. Only that target. So it's circumstantial and probably won't happen too often on this build, but it's another avenue for dealing increased damage. And I say it won't happen too much on this build purely because it's a stealth commando, we are hidden a lot of the time. We don't really get detected. You see my videos, you know I don't get detected when I'm on this build, so might not make use out of it. I may switch to that if I never make use out of it, but for now, it's what I'm looking at. So next up, number 5, we have Funky Duds. You guys already know what this does, but I'll go over it one last time, so remember it if I mention it in the future. At rank 4 we gain a plus 200 poison damage resistance when wearing a matching set of armor, which is insanely beneficial since poison damage is the one thing that will kill most players without them even realizing. Then finally, our 6th and final legendary perk card for this combination in particular, we have Legendary Intelligence. At rank 4 we gain a plus 5 to intelligence and a plus 5 towards the intelligent perk points capacity, which we will be making use of this time. As you can see at the top of the screen, this will allow us to equip something worth 5 points in our intelligence tree. But we will be picking Demolition Expert, which will allow us to use our explosive legendary rifles more effectively without having to sacrifice something else. Also, it may increase our far-flung fireworks damage as well. So basically by picking Legendary Intelligence I can switch to my Bloodied Explosive, Fixer, or some other weapon that I've got that is explosive as a legendary effect, and I can use it way more effectively to deal out more damage. Again, it's just a way of min-maxing in particular to my build, and I know a lot of you out there are using my build, so you might find this incredibly handy, you might find it not that useful, you might want to switch something else instead of Legendary Intelligence, like, I don't know, something else like Survival Shortcut or something like that. But as I said, I am going for max damage output and max damage, just efficiency, so that's what I'm picking here. So yeah. Moving on to my Power Armor Heavy Gunner build, I'm actually really excited for this one. These legendary perk cards are going to be pretty amazing for this build. So we're firstly going off with number 1, Electrical Absorption, because at rank 4 we gain a 20% chance that enemy energy attacks will recharge your Power Armor's fusion core. Now I know what you're thinking, Tier, why would you pick this? But trust me, this is an amazing perk that you will never run out of fusion cores again. Just purposefully get shot by some robots or enemies with energy weapons like the Blood Eagles or super mutants with laser rifles. They're all pretty common in all honesty, you can find them easily. Just do that and you'll be golden. Also, a little secret, this perk actually heals you as well. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it heals you as well as healing your Power Armor fusion cores. Anyways, off to number 2, this is Far-Flung Fireworks. You already know what this does, but I'll mention it a final time in detail if you missed it, and then I won't, I'll just skim over it in the future. So at rank 4, enemies killed with a ranged weapon have a 20% chance to explode, which is actually pretty awesome on this type of build, and in particular, I feel like I'll be making use of it a lot more on my Heavy Gunner character than I would my Commando, purely because of just the playstyle. I feel like it would proc more often, and it would be a lot more bang for my buck. Number 3 is Funky Duds. We all should know what this one does, I've mentioned it twice now, so yes, it's on their screen as well. Next up is perk number 4, Power Armor Reboot. At rank 4, max rank, we have a 40% chance to auto-revive with full health if you die in Power Armor. Now this is absolutely amazing, I cannot stress this enough, about how good this perk actually is. And contrary to what the description says, if you are bloodied, it does not revive you back to full health and remove your radiation. It will instead revive you to full health to the point where your radiation level was at on the time of your death, which is amazing. Think of it as a better version of Serendipity, but for power armor. This is going to synergize so well with my heavy gunner's main role, which is to tank, and I'm going to be able to do a lot better at doing that. Then our 5th legendary perk, we have Ammo Factory, and at rank 4 this allows us to produce 150% more rounds when crafting ammunition, which is fucking amazing. I don't have to explain to you how resource intensive it is to keep a heavy gunner stocked up on ammo. Definitely a go-to choice for this build. Definitely take it. Then finally, number 6, taking one for the team. At rank 4, enemies take 40% more damage when they attack you if you're on a team. We went over this one before, but here it is again. This is going to be specifically really useful for the heavy gunner character though, since we are usually on the front lines and out there allowing enemies to shoot us, whether it be by accident or on purpose. Just in other words, this build is meant to tank damage, and this synergizes really well with the fact that we can tank damage, so we should let enemies shoot us, so then we can in turn deal 40% more damage back to them. Like I said, it synergizes well with our build, so it's basically a permanent 40% damage bonus and an absolute must-have for heavy gunners. Now we are onto my shotgun build. Straight up, I'll say it here and now that this is basically a copy of my commando setup, because there is nothing that specifically helps shotguns. I was really hoping they would add something specific to shotguns as a legendary perk, like maybe a rework of that New Vegas perk called And Stay Back. You know, the one that gave you a chance to knock down and ragdoll enemies with your shotgun. I think it was like a 10% chance per pellet or something like that, but they should add that in but make it only work on critical hits in VATS or something like that. Just something to do with shotguns. I don't know, shotguns just need more love in this game. Anyways, the following cards chosen were: number 1, Far-Flung Fireworks, because there's nothing else useful to pick for a shotgunner in terms of damage output, so yes, you all know why I chose it and you all know what it does. If you don't, it says it right here. Second perk is Follow Through, because the fact that when you are using silenced combat shotguns, this is going to be extremely beneficial and powerful. We all know what this perk does, it's on screen right now, but basically combat shotguns with silencers plus this, I think it's going to be a powerful combination. But anyway, now number 3, I chose Taking One for the Team, again for the same reasons as the previous 2 builds. It's going to be really beneficial for this, because the shotgunner is technically a tanky version of the commando build. It's kind of like an in-between of my heavy and my stealth commando. Doesn't really have a place in the world, but yeah, it gets the job done. Then number 4, we have, surprise surprise, Funky Duds. We all know why I chose that. I don't need to go in depth. But here, these last 2 I do need to get in depth into. So I chose Legendary Luck because at rank 5 we'll get 5 extra points of luck to play around with. This is purely so we can maximize our critical shot frequency, and it will allow us to use more regular perks in luck. As you can see at the top right, I have room to play around in there. This will allow us to use Grim Reaper's Sprint at max level, and allow us to use rank 2 of 4-Leaf Clover. Again, further maximizing our ability to use a shotgun in VATS, and our use of the VATS critical ability. It's going to be really potent, I can tell you that right now. But as far as Legendary Agility goes, I chose that for the 6th perk, and purely for the reason that it will allow me to equip all ranks of Sneak, Covert Ops, and Escape Artist without me having to sacrifice any other aspects of this build in the regular menu. So it can be a run and gun build and also a stealth build, which all synergize as well with the follow through perk. It's not much, but guys, it's the best I could think of, making a genuinely amazing shotgunner legendary perk combination. Bethesda kinda fucked shotguns over, so this is what I could come up with. And again, I have to mention as well, there is not much here in terms of pistol min-maxing. This is kind of the same as my commando setup, since there is not much perk diversity in terms of weapon classes at the moment. Again, it would be cool to have a legendary perk specific to pistols. I don't know, maybe something along the lines of a legendary perk that gives you the chance to have each shot give you a percentage chance to be a critical hit without the use of VATS. You know, like the OG critical system, like Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Bring back the random critical feature, but only for pistols, in the form of a legendary perk. I don't know, something cool like that. Like, I just thought of that just then off the top of my head. Come on, Bethesda. We need more weapon diversity in the legendary perk system. I got heaps of ideas for cool ass legendary perks, which I may make a video on later. Anyways, these are my chosen perks for now. First up, obviously, is Far-Flung Fireworks. I don't need to explain why, it's basically the same reasoning as every other range build I've shown so far. Then number 2, we will be taking Follow Through. Again, no explanation needed. Thirdly though, I am taking Legendary Perception because at rank 4 this will give me +5 Perception to use in my regular build, which we will absolutely be making use of. As you can see there in the top, you can see I have lowered my Perception down temporarily for this down to 4, so that I will take max rank of Legendary Perception, and that will allow me to upgrade Crackshot to the max rank and also allow me to take max rank of Tank Killer, because if you didn't know, pistols will now be affected by that perk, which is fucking amazing. So yes, this is definitely a great choice for me personally, and all bloody pistol builds, or pistol builds in general, because Tank Killer now gives us armor penetration as a pistol user, so I had to make room for that in the build. So yeah, found a way to do that. Next up, number 4, we are using Taking One for the Team, for obvious reasons again. It's basically a permanent bonus to damage output while you're on team. And number 5, Funky Duds, which is, in case you forgot, at rank 4 grants us a +200 poison damage resistance when wearing a matching set of armor. So we definitely need this. I'm having this on all my characters, I don't give a fuck. It's going to be so goddamn useful, you have no idea. And lastly, for the 6th perk on the pistol character, purely because I had no fucking clue what to put here, I decided to go with the Legendary Agility. I figured, fuck it. This is a run and gun character, I'm always running, sprinting, and using VATS. So, I might as well get 25 more action points to work with. So yeah, that's where I'm at on pistols. It fucking sucks that there's nothing specifically geared towards pistol users. It's kind of just the same, but slightly different as the commando build, which I don't like. I want diversity, man. I want different perks, but well, what can you do? This is what we got to work with for now, so that's what I'm working with. And here we have the Quality of Life legendary perks section. This is all of the perks that make the game easier and more convenient for the player. Feel free to use this setup in its entirety, or maybe just take bits and pieces of this to combine with one of the other combinations that I had beforehand. You pick and choose. Let's just get into it. So, first up, perk 1 is Ammo Factory at rank 4. This allows us to produce 150% more rounds of ammunition, which is absolutely amazing and well worth it in my eyes. You're definitely going to want to pick this one up. And perk 2 is Master Infiltrator. At rank 4, this allows us to auto-unlock skill 3 terminals and locks, and it also gives us 3 skill 2 lockpick and hacking skills, which is amazing. It could be handy. It basically just auto-unlocks every single lockpick and every single terminal you come into contact with, on top of, you know, you don't have to manually equip the lockpick and hacking perks in your regular skill tree, so a lot of convenience saved right there for the player. Perk 3 is Survival Shortcut because at rank 4 it does generate 2 survival aid chems every 20 minutes, up to a maximum of 10 in your inventory. Again, this basically removes the hassle of eating and drinking. Also, it allows you to have a quick and easy way to cure diseases, as the chem also does that. So it's not the worst thing in the world, and definitely worth picking up if convenience is your go-to in this game. Perk 4 is What Rads. At rank 4 you gain plus 300 rad resistance and restore 6 rads per second, which is amazing for the everyday player. This perk is going to save a lot of hassle for a lot of players, I can already see. So yeah, definitely pick this one up if you're new to the game and just reaching level 50, being able to do this. It's going to save you a lot of hassle in like nuke zones. It's going to save you a lot of hassle not needing to stock up on Radaway and Radex, stuff like that. Next up is perk 5, Legendary Intelligence is what I've chosen here because at rank 4 it grants us 5 intelligence points that we might not have had already. This may open up some avenues in our regular perk card selection to allow us to equip some crafting perks. Also, an added bonus is that having this means we gain more experience, which means faster level ups. So yeah, definitely useful if convenience is your go-to, like I keep saying. Lastly, for perk 6, I chose Legendary Charisma because that will give us plus 5 Charisma points to work with in the same way as the previous one did, so we could share more perks and equip more team-orientated regular perks if we wanted to. So yeah, like Team Bodyguards, stuff like that. You can share basically whatever you want and get to 15 Charisma, 15 Intelligence with this. It just makes life a little bit easier if these are maxed out. Now the next setup is honestly all I could think of in terms of PvP. This is more so for Para Armor builds, but I do mention non-Para Armor perks to pick and replace the Para Armor perks that I do choose. I know PvP is not everyone's cup of tea, but it is a feature in the game that I feel is worth mentioning a legendary perk setup for. To all PvP players watching, I want to know what your thoughts are on what I'm about to suggest, so please do comment down below what you think of it. First up, first PvP legendary perk I chose was Blood Sacrifice. At rank 4, this perk states that when you die, Teammates gain a 40 damage resistance increase and heal 70 HP over 14 seconds. Now this could be extremely useful because in PvP fights, most players tend to die a lot. It happens, people die in PvP, so when you do die, you literally make your teammates harder to kill. So one way I thought this could be used in a graceful tactical way was have 3 players on your team with this perk maxed out, have them all die on purpose, and then the 4th player on that team just rushes in against the enemy team with a fuck ton of extra damage resistance and health regen. It would be hilarious and very useful, I reckon. Don't know, could see some pretty interesting combinations with that. Number 2 for PvP related perks is Survival Shortcut. At rank 4 this perk generates 2 survival aiding chems every 20 minutes, up to a maximum of 10. This little chem cures diseases and fills your hunger and thirst up instantly with no debuff at all, which can be insanely useful for those long drawn out PvP fights, so yeah. Purely for convenience sake, if you don't want that you could just replace it with a legendary attribute for intelligence, strength, whatever the fuck you want, you know, pick and choose. Anyway, the third PvP perk I chose, this is for the power armor users, would be Electrical Absorption, because at rank 4 we get a 20% chance enemy energy attacks will recharge our power armor's fusion core. And as I stated earlier, it has a little feature inbuilt into it so that when your fuel on your power core does get refueled, it also heals you. So Tesla rifles and laser rifles are going to be literally healing power armor PvP players, so that's going to be fun to watch. So since this perk allows energy weapons to heal your power cores and essentially your health, I think that Tesla rifles and laser rifles will finally be put away and it will force PvP players to actually aim. So go ahead and try this combination out. Energy weapons literally heal you at the same time as refueling your fusion cores in your power armor. Alternatively, if you are not a power armor PvP user, you can use What Rads, because it grants us a plus 300 rad resistance and heals radiation possibly over time at about 6 rads per second, which could be very useful if you're a full health PvP player and someone uses a gamma gun on you, for example. Don't know, could be useful. The 4th PvP perk I am choosing is Taking One for the Team, because at rank 4, enemies take 40% more damage when they attack you, if you're on a team. Obviously this is going to be amazing in PvP. When you and another player are fighting each other, if they hit you, then you literally have a 40% damage increase bonus over them, which can then be used in your favour. Next up is the 5th perk, Legendary Endurance, and I chose this because it will literally grant you 5 extra points of endurance, which is 25 extra health points, and we all know every point of HP definitely counts in PvP. On top of that, it may open up some room in your regular perk card station for perks to be equipped like Life Giver or Cola Nut or something like that. Finally, perk number 6 for PvP. Now, if you're in Power Armor, I urge you to use Power Armor Reboot. This will literally just give you a chance to literally not die and continue the fight. It's immensely useful in PvP for all them AC 130 builds out there. But if you're not a Power Armor user, then I recommend using up this final perk slot with a legendary attribute of your choice. Anything you find useful, from strength to agility, maybe luck, just open up some room for you to choose more regular perks that your PvP build may be missing out on. But yeah, if you're a Power Armor user, definitely use Power Armor Reboot. That shit will that will be meta. I'm calling it now, that will be meta in PvP. It's gonna reign supreme. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my legendary perk card video. If you want to know more about what these cards do in depth, I recommend looking up Inn of Survivalist's video guide on them, or maybe Angry Turtles. But after a lot of research and careful planning and some testing on the PTS by myself, I came to the conclusion that all of these combinations best suit these different playstyles. So for anyone that is unsure on what cards they want to pick due to being unsure of what will be most effective for their playstyle or their build, I hope this video was able to shed some light and help you out. That's going to do it for me guys. Remember to click subscribe if you're new here and like the video if you enjoyed. Thank you as always to my channel members and Patreon supporters. If you'd like to join them and have your name at the end of the video, the link to do so is down below, as well as a link to my social media including my Discord. Be sure to check it all out. I've been Tia, and I'll catch you in the next one. Welcome to Valhalla.